It's been a busy week in the Inland Northwest, so let's get you caught up with the KREM 2 News Week in Review. I'm Cody Proctor. Thanks for being here with us. Over the next half hour, we'll take a look back at some of the news you might have missed from the past week. So let's get started with one of the biggest stories from the Inland Northwest.
The federal grand jury not only found Hilton violated Kevin Hinton's rights during that 2023 arrest, he lied on official police reports. We do want to warn you, some of what you see in this video is graphic.
Listen, you are going to get hurt.
Clay Hilton now faces federal criminal charges for beating Kevin Hinton during an August 2023 arrest. A federal grand jury found the former Spokane County Sheriff's Office sergeant deprived Hinton's rights by punching and kneeing him. They also found Hilton lied in his field report when he said he saw knives in Hinton's car.
I have a client who was upholding the law, putting his life on the line for the benefit of the community, and now he's being prosecuted for it. And I'm just in disbelief.
Brian Hirschman represents Hilton in this new federal case and his criminal case in Spokane County Court.
I'm real aggravated about the charges being brought, and even more aggravated in how they were brought.
Hirschman says he and Hilton knew for months federal charges were being considered, but says they were surprised when the indictment was released last week.
We engaged in a settlement conference in person with the federal government and the state authorities in an attempt to resolve this.
An arrest warrant was issued for Hilton after the indictment. This week, it was dropped. Federal prosecutors declined to keep him in custody. He's pleading not guilty. KREM 2 News did not receive a response from federal prosecutors on the case.
I've represented police officers in state court on several occasions. This is my first federal representation. I believe it is. What's even more rare is that they would piggyback on charges that were already filed in the state court.
Hilton's set to stand trial in Spokane County in March, charged with false swearing and assault. Sheriff John Knowles fired Hilton in September 2024. The sheriff said his conduct was clearly outside policy. Other members of the sheriff's office, including supervisors, were also disciplined.
Was he acting above the law? That's silly. No, absolutely not. Did he use excessive force? We've got a use of force expert who says no, he was acting completely within the bounds of the law. I've spoken to dozens of law enforcement officers who have all said it's exactly what I would have done. It's exactly what I have done.
If convicted on both federal counts, Hilton could serve up to 30 years in prison and pay $500,000 in fines. Kevin Hinton filed a federal lawsuit against Hilton and the sheriff's office in August 2024. That is on hold until Hilton's state charges are resolved. Hirschman says the criminal case in Spokane County Court may also be delayed because of those new charges. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Today at that Spokane City Council meeting, it was outlined how agencies will be expanding access under this emergency declaration to support those who are affected by the government shutdown. The city of Spokane says Mayor Lisa Brown's declaration will fund 50 additional shelter beds, expedite eviction prevention contracts, and fund mobile medication-assisted treatment to combat dwindling government funds.
Because we want to go upstream and prevent more homelessness.
Don Kinder, director of the city's Neighborhood Housing and Human Services, says right now 3 agencies are confirmed to provide these added shelter beds. The city says those agencies are Compassionate Addiction Treatment, or CAT, the YWCA, and Revive. 2 more organizations are in discussions to provide beds. Those are the Salvation Army and the Center for Growth and Empowerment. A city report shows the total cost would be about $1.3 million. Kinder recommended to the council a potential timeline for these services.
So our intent is to do a 12-month contract. The reason for that being that we cannot ask providers to add beds and staff and locations for 3 months. They're not going to do it. It's unfair to their staff and it's unfair to the people they're serving. We need to get through one winter. We also need to get to the RFP cycle in 2026 so that agencies can compete for these funds to be ongoing.
Also presented, Kinder says the mobile medication-assisted treatment will be run by CAT. It will cost around $200,000. The eviction prevention program has 7 recommended recommended agencies and will cost a total about $2.9 million. The city says funding would come from state and local sources.
I think we are in a state of emergency for supporting our most vulnerable residents. We want to get folks indoors. We want to really build a city that is healthy, that is strong, and I think can really pave a better way to the future.
Spokane City Council is expected to approve Mayor Lisa Brown's emergency declaration on Monday, November 3rd. I'm reporting in Spokane, Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.
Well, Spokane police say authorities arrested 38-year-old Tyrone Cliff on Tuesday in Florida, and our Tampa Bay sister station found out it happened while he was on campus of the school he just started working at.
Spokane police say the investigation began in August when detectives with the Internet Crimes Against Children unit got a tip about someone viewing/downloading child porn files. According to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, detectives learned the device belonged to Tyrone Cliff, who'd moved from Spokane to Ruskin, Florida, just south of Tampa. Florida law enforcement officials say he'd previously lived in the Tampa Bay area and owned a martial arts school there back in 2015. Before moving to Florida, Spokane PD says Cliff worked at a religious school here in the Spokane area. It hasn't been confirmed as of Thursday night which school it was. An arrest inquiry from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office found the suspect was working as a teacher at Bayshore Christian School in Tampa at the time of his arrest. Our Tampa Bay sister station, WSTP, spoke with the school's headmaster, who says Cliff only started working at the school 9 weeks ago, teaching math and science. He reportedly had no disciplinary issues and underwent a background check. She also says he was arrested on campus Tuesday morning, and they terminated him immediately. Cliff was arrested for 7 first-degree felony charges of possessing child sexual abuse material.
Now, as of Thursday, it's unclear when he'll be sent back to Spokane. The Hillsborough County Court Record System says his next hearing scheduled for next week. In the newsroom, Cody Proctor, KREM 2 News. As we go to break, here's a check of your forecast. Welcome back to the KREM 2 News Week in Review. Each weekend, we walk you through headlines from the past week in the Inland Northwest.
Typically, people celebrate their birthdays with cake.
Yeah, I like to do both.
But one Spokane native celebrates his special day with a different annual tradition, dropping off his ballot.
Absolutely, every year. Yep.
And now that he's retired, Rick Patsy Jr. says he believes it's even more important to vote.
You have to vote. Everybody that lives here loves this Spokane, and you just want it to be a better place to live.
So he drops off his ballot at a drop box, and with less than a week until elections, Spokane County Auditor Vicki Dalton stresses that voters should follow Pansy's example instead of mailing it at this point.
Your ballot is your voice.
She says due to recent service standard changes this year, ballots sent through the mail could potentially be postmarked late, meaning they won't be counted for this year's general election. That's because in the past, the Postal Service collected and processed mail day of, but as of this year, that is no longer the case.
We don't actually physically toss any envelopes or any ballots. So we still physically have it, but we can't verify the signature. We can't open the envelopes. We can't extract the ballot. It does mean that your vote will not be counted.
The Spokane County election website says in the last 4 years, the county received nearly 2,900 what they call too late ballots, which were postmarked after Election Day. However, Pansy will not be in that group, thanks to one of his birthday traditions.
Vote for what you think is right and hope it changes everything and makes Spokane a better place to live.
For your ballot to be counted here in Spokane County, it needs to be postmarked by November 4th at 8 p.m. In Spokane, Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
The lawsuit argues City Council candidate for District 2, Alejandro Barrientos, did not live in the district when he began his candidacy and therefore shouldn't be running for office. The race for Spokane's District 2 seat on City Council is on between Barrientos and his opponent, Kate Tellis. But a lawsuit filed by 3 Spokane residents who documents show aren't financial supporters for either candidate argues Barrientos isn't qualified to run. A rule in the city's charter says a candidate has to live in the district they're running for at least a year before they can run for office. Documents show Barrientos previously lived in District 2 on Manitou Boulevard. However, they go on to say his divorce at the time had his wife living at the home during the time he'd need to in order to run for the office. Documents say during an interview with news outlet Range Media last Thursday, Barrientos stated he'd been living in a condo in District 1 from April of 2024 to April of this year. This, the suit argues, makes him ineligible for the council seat.
This isn't to say he's not a great candidate in other respects. It's just he still has to meet the mechanical requirements.
Retired attorney Jeffrey Feiner is representing the 3 Spokane residents in this case. He argues Barrientos should not be qualified to run and questions why the matter wasn't discovered until right before the election. He also says the lawsuits had to be amended with a 10-day period for filing instead of 5 days, which he says contradicts Barrientos' post to social media saying the suit was dismissed.
We amended within about 24 hours and pointed out that the correct statute uses all the same facts we've already alleged, but removed the 5-day frantic rush.
Feiner says the suit's amended as of Tuesday. With a new timeline for the case, Feiner says scheduling a hearing for the suit could be a moot point depending on the election result.
If he gains the most votes, there's a reason to go forward. If he does not win the general election majority of votes, then the lawsuit is no longer of any importance.
Barrientos released a statement in response to the suit when first announced, saying in part, "Make no mistake, I am a resident of District 2, and I look forward to representing my neighbors on the city council. On Election Day, the people of Spokane will reject the politics of personal destruction and Seattle dark money." While Feiner says it's unclear when a hearing could be scheduled, he believes it's unlikely it'll be before Election Day. Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
Thanks for joining KREM 2 News this weekend. I'm Cody Proctor. Right now, we're taking a look back at some of the news stories from the past week.
I'm at Spokane City Streets Department Equipment Yard, and behind me, this truck and the 2 next to it are 3 types of snowplows that you'll see on Spokane streets this winter. Now, the city says its winter operations plan won't see any major changes because it's tested and tried.
Whether it's your first winter in Spokane or your 20th, it's good to know the city's plan to remove snow and keep streets safe. And that plan includes 3 heavy hitters. First up, rolling onto the streets this winter is this liquid de-icer, measuring 11.8 feet high with a plow 12 feet wide. Next up, this 11.4-foot grader is coming to a Spokane neighborhood near you with a 12-foot wide plow. And finally, this loader may be 12 feet tall, but it's rolling down Spokane streets with 2 plows totaling 20 feet wide.
Full-time, 18 years.
Charlie Hanshaw knows these rigs all too well. His top pick, the loader.
They're a lot more agile in the neighborhoods. You can get between parked cars easier.
When snowfall reaches 4 or more inches, the city activates a full city plow, deploying Charlie and his trusted sidekick.
You'll set the second plow, the wing plow, down. That gives you more width.
Starting mid-November, it's all hands and wheels on deck. Crews switch to 20-hour shifts 7 days a week. New this year, upgraded grader tires. This replaces time-consuming heavy snow chains. The department says this change will make plowing faster and safer.
These tires will help to allow us to be able to navigate the streets safely and will help to eliminate having to put snow chains on the graders. These snow chains are very heavy and burdensome, are challenging to install, and very time-consuming to maintain during the snowplows.
And with 4 satellite supply stations across the city, drivers can refill sand and de-icer closer to their route, which gets Charlie and a fleet of these fearsome plows back on the road sooner.
Bring on the snow!
Now, once a full city plow is activated, you can track the city's progress on its snow removal map online. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
John Weiss serves as the state director of the Washington State Farm Service Agency starting in May of this year until Wednesday. His firing's both unexpected by state lawmakers and unexplained by the Trump administration as of Thursday night. He held the position during President Trump's first administration as well as President Biden's before being reappointed. His work in the position, his supporters say, prioritized focusing on supporting farmers. He previously served as the North Region Director of the U.S. Apple Association for a decade and the Vice President of the USA Farmers Association. The announcement comes just 2 days before SNAP benefits are set to run out of money and will no longer be available to nearly 1 million recipients in Washington state alone. Washington Representative Dan Newhouse sent a statement on Weiss's firing, saying in part, his experience, relationships with producers, and firsthand understanding of the challenges in farm country give producers an ally in the federal government. John's firing is a mistake and a disservice to farmers who need a strong leader at the Farm Service Agency, especially now when times are tough. We've reached out to Representative Newhouse and state leaders in the agriculture industry in Washington state for comment on his firing, but have not heard back yet. We'll continue following the story as updates become available. Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
Welcome back to the KREM 2 News, a week in review. I hope you're having a great weekend. Let's get back to one more story you might have missed this past week.
From an outside perspective, this may just look like a traditional tribal dance. But for Coeur d'Alene tribal dancer Jonathan Nomi, this is the night his childhood dreams came true.
The world champion,
officially bringing the title of 2025 Fancy Dancer World Champion.
I'm still plain Jonathan Nomi from, Worley, Idaho.
Back home to the Coeur d'Alene tribe from the Powwow Dance Championships in Alberta, Canada, a competition he was handpicked for from a pool of dancers across North America.
It's still surreal. It's crazy to me. I didn't think I'd be in a position that I'm in today.
A point in his dance career that wouldn't be possible without the help of his grandma, or Yaya.
My grandma was always one of my biggest supporters, my biggest fan.
Growing up, Nomi says his Yaya nurtured his love for an up-tempo form of dance called fancy dance by taking him to powwows and competitions, some of which he'd go on to win decades later. Throughout the years, Nomi's Yaya helped him with his passion in many different ways, from meticulously sewing and beading his regalia, like this vest.
My Indian name is Pretty Horse, and so when my my Yaya would make my beadwork, she would always put a horse on there.
Two sitting on sidelines cheering him on. But for this competition, Yaya's seat stayed empty.
My grandmother passed away back in April, and she's given us a legacy that we can continue and that we can continue to grow.
Now, Nomi's goal is to make sure she lives on through him with the love they shared for dance.
Every time when I'm out there, I always hear her. I always hear her still kicking and screaming. I can picture her there still too. And so, winning that, I know she's still there.
Just watching him out there, it brings a different kind of emotion.
Jonathan's wife, Janae, says it's been an emotional ride seeing him become the man and dancer he is today.
Just being able to be out there. There's a lot of people that aren't able to be out there. And to be recognized by his tribe is so proud of him, his family, myself.
Although Yaya's no longer here, Nomi says she'll always have the best seat in the house.
Win or lose, no money involved, it doesn't matter. I'll always dance and I'll always be representing my tribe, my people, and my family.
I know that his Yaya would be very proud of him.
Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
Keep it here for more news and weather updates throughout the weekend. And don't forget, you can watch our latest newscasts anytime on your schedule on KREM 2 Plus. Download and watch right now for free. I'm Cody Proctor. Thank you for watching KREM 2 News Week in Review.